Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to HitScan. Usually when a new agent comes out we do a bit of interactions testing and myth busting. This time I sat down with a Riot dev, Rycou, one of the main people that designed KO, to go over unique interactions and how the agent overall works, as well as why. The devs giving some reasoning as to why they went for some certain changes here or there. But without further ado, let's get started, and thanks again for Rycou and Riot for being involved in this video. This is a suppression knife, and I guess you could suppress me in a second. How long does suppression last?
8 seconds.
8 seconds. And you can sort of see the UI on screen is what I was talking about before, where if you... also a cool thing to add, goes through walls. That's pretty strong. Like, was that another, like... It feels like there's a lot of, like, balancing points with this ability, and when I saw that, it's again like a... Okay, this is much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so that balance point actually probably took the most years off my life, kind of like figuring that out, because trying to figure out if it should be line of sight or that through walls. And the biggest thing that through walls we found gave us was essentially the reliability. So if you kind of throw it on the wall and look at your mini map, so hit the knife and then throw it on the wall. You'll see on the mini map, you'll see the area that it's, or you'll see the area that it creates. Being able to kind of have these lineups and have these things that show you the radius of who can be affected in a very reliable way was really important to us. And so if you strategically want to, and you know that they're in sewer, like you were saying, if you want to just strategically cover a whole zone, like black out a whole zone and suppress them, being able to do reliability through walls was something that was really important to gameplay, even though it might lack in some of that counterplay that folks feel they have on Sova Dart.
Okay, we got a good question here. Does the UI notification line up with how long the enemy is suppressed? That's a good thing to check. So you're suppressed for 8 seconds. It's basically if this UI lasts the same amount of time, so I can see that you're suppressed on screen.
Yep. It should match 1-to-1.
Yeah, there we go. So it does. So that's a good way of knowing how, like, if they go off your screen, they're no longer suppressed, so watch out for abilities. Can you shoot it before the first tick like a Sova Dart?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, that's going to require some insane aim to just turn, like, Recon Dart, people are getting good at it. Maybe in 5 years, people can just instantly, you know, turn and bop it on the wall. Right,
yeah. It's I think it's about the same timing or a little bit faster. I think it's a little bit faster than Sova Dart at 0.6 seconds.
Okay.
And so it takes about 0.6 seconds for it to charge up and explode. But the big difference, obviously, is that Sova's stays on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can throw it against the wall and see if it can hit it after my 8 seconds.
Oh god, this is a test.
Ability prison. All right, let's try this.
This is like aim practice, just having somebody throw them at the walls, to be fair.
Little free aim labs here.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so the big thing on here is this counterplay, although it might not be something that you can access all the time. So if I threw it here, it'd be really hard because you can't see it.
Yeah.
If the knife kind of is put in a place that is a little bit more risky and players want to get it into some places, like let's say right on the floor in the middle of the ground, to get more, to get it farther instead of hiding it, it should be really easy and predictable. And then if it is getting to the spot where it's predictable, it can get shot. So then you can, you start to see the value of doing things like lineups and kind of finding new positions.
A good question is, can you move around when you're done? 1 HP, of course I am. There we go. No, you can't.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be able to look around too much. You do get a lot of really good information.
Yeah, even the mini-maps, like, shrouded too, so I guess that's just to stop you being, like, throw yourself into the enemy, be like, alright, they're all here. You can't headshot him whilst he's downed, right? He doesn't have a head reticle.
No. That one we removed because we had some play tests where we had it on, and with, like, the Guardian or something like, or the op, it's just the multiplier is so high that he went down in like 2 shots, which ended up being like making it really risky to push at times, and you couldn't really access that fun part of the ultimate of him being stabilized.
Yeah. Another question was, do enemies hear when KO's been revived? I think so, but also you see it in the UI, like an enemy resurrection, you see them being rested in the kill feed, so everybody should know that it's happened.
Yep. It's a small radius. I think it's this is gonna be hard because I don't want to get I don't know the exact radius, but I think it's about like 15 meters or 12 meters. You can hear the audio.
Does a Killjoy touch you down a downed KO? That's such a unique question, but I wanna see what it's like.
Yes, it does shoot at a down KO.
So I mean, it's not gonna kill it, but it's just gonna be super annoying.
I think the KO will time out before the turret can kill KO.
Yeah.
Full HP.
One thing that somebody asked me to test: can I hit you with a suppression knife? No, I can't. I was gonna say, imagine throwing a knife onto a teammate jet and just having a dash into a site at the right time. One thing about this, obviously, a lot of people are going to be looking to do lineups. The rumor is that it has the I keep forgetting the name of it. 0 point. It has the same trajectory as a Killjoy molly.
That is a myth. This is a fun fact, actually. Jonas already found this, obviously.
I mean, obviously,
it is the same. It's the same trajectory as a Sova 2 power.
Oh.
So if you charge Sova's up to 2 power, it's the same trajectory, both when you're throwing in the air, how it changes the physics, how it falls, and most of that was to ensure that a lot of our physics for our agents kind of follow a trajectory that we've had in the past. I think it was really important on KO to make it so that it's fairly intuitive to learn.
What's the range on this as well? It's kind of like footstep level, right? Of how high and wide it can go.
So that one is 15 meters. It's about half of the footstep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And the ultimate is... Yeah, the ultimate
45.
is 45, so it's beyond footsteps as well.
Right.
Wow.
I think the biggest site we have... Well, I'm not going to count Breeze because Breeze is huge. Yeah. Prior to Breeze, the biggest one was like 42, 43 meters. And so I worked with the 2 other map designers, Sal and Joe. And Joe and I actually were kind of like looking at some of the sites together and trying to understand what a good number would be is. And so we were just like kind of trying to find the number that was like, what is the number we need to be at so that just you can say I press X and the whole site is suppressed.
So the general rule, I suppose, with suppression is it's not about suppressing the ability. It's about suppressing the agent. Controlled utility, like a Trailblazer and an Owl Drone.
So you have to hit the sky and the Sova. So here, I'll do it from far back here, and you can suppress the wolf.
Yeah, I'll throw it like... Oh, you can't see it. I've just pinged it, so... Ah. If I hit you from this distance...
I get popped out of it.
That's really interesting.
Same thing with Sova Dart. Or, I'm sorry, Sova Drone.
Okay. That's why the Boombot isn't destroyed, because it's not player-controlled utility.
Right.
Is there any others other than Eldron and Trailblazer? I don't think so, right?
Let me look at the list. So if I throw my smoke over here and my wall, because these require interaction and can be disabled, if you suppress me here...
Oh yeah, it shuts them down.
It falls after... It's the same as a disable. It should fall after the 2 seconds as if she died.
Ah.
Yep.
Again, why that when the other smokes don't have that effect? Because Omen, Astra, Brimstone smokes stay up if you get suppressed.
Right. Most of it is because it does create that 8-second window of like, her smokes are really strong. Can add that decay effect. But it tends to be really strong on defense. If she's on defense and you're on offense, it helps you create that window similar to like, other agents. But for the smokes, basically, because she can reactivate it over and over and has fuel that lets her just kind of control it, it would get suppressed. And then the other smokes are basically in world already. So there's no further player action needed on it. It just kind of gets deployed. And so those smokes, obviously don't go away.
So the general rule, I suppose, with suppression is it's not about suppressing the ability, it's about suppressing the agent. If I 0-point a Cypher camera, it won't stop it. But if I hit the Cypher head on whilst he's in cam, that'll take him out of it.
Right, yeah. As a Cypher player, as a Killjoy player, the counterplay felt very lacking because there's only, you know, there's some certain places on a map that feel like it's a little bit more limited to where. So I'll give an example is like split B. The Cypher trap usually just goes there on main just to kind of like get some of that information and trap anyone that tries to go too fast. Being able to suppress that off the gate made it really difficult for Cypher to even place it anywhere else that mattered to help stop or offer some type of like stalling. And so by making it so that's only on the agents, we make it so that as a Cypher player, I can play like a risky angle and get suppressed and play off my utility, but being able to mix up my position to increase my utility and like reduce the risk, but also be far off the angle allows me to have my utility still up. And so you'd have to only just change your position as a Cypher as opposed to having to place things in a non-optimal location, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you could just hit the common spaces where people put a Cypher camera and it would just kind of ruin them, I suppose, for it. But if they can change up their own position, they can still use those areas to their advantage, so long as they're not being stupid and standing in the same spots. The big question people are asking is, if you Viper's Pit, can I shut it down?
That one is going to act like the boombot because it's like in world, once it's spawned, it does not get suppressed. But I cannot activate my E, my Q, and I also cannot use my snake bites.
Okay. Does the fuel charge while suppressed? That's a good question.
Yes. Yeah, it still charges up.
So that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
What are the rules? Somebody asked this before on Viper and I forgot to test it. What happens if you catch somebody mid wind up of their ultimate? So you have Viper kind of going, don't stand in my way. What if you hit her as she's saying it? Does it stop the ultimate? Or will it still go through?
As long as you cast, if it's equipped, it will not go through. As long as she's cast it already and put it on the ground, it will still go through.
So there's no chance of you hitting a 0-point at the perfect time to shut down an ultimate as it comes out and completely use it, other than, of course, stuff like Showstopper. Is there any other ultimates that get shut down from suppression other than Showstopper? Does Hunter's Fury?
Hunter's Fury also will get shut down.
Okay.
Let me look at the list. So starting from the top, Astra's the wall will not go down if she's suppressed.
Okay, that's good.
Breach is resolved. Brimstone, and when I say resolved, I basically mean it's been created in the world. Yeah. It doesn't require any more player interaction. And so Breach, Brimstone, those are all resolved ultimates. Cypher ultimate, as long as the hat finds a corpse.
You can't throw a knife at the hat to break it.
No. Jet will have her ultimate suppressed for the 8 seconds or however long she's suppressed for, but she'll be able to equip it again like a weapon.
Okay.
KO, we saw that. It doesn't affect his ultimate because it's already been cast. Killjoy doesn't affect it. Omen.
Do you want to test that one? Because it was either you were trying to build for suspense or you weren't necessarily sure.
In my head, I was just like, oh my god, did we fix that bug? But
so it suppresses you, but you could still go through with your ultimate.
Yeah, because I was scared there was a bug where you couldn't cancel it. And so...
you sort of get trapped, stuck on the other side.
Trapped, yeah. So
what happens if I suppress where you're teleporting to? So you can cancel it, you can stick it, but you're suppressed when you come out, okay.
Yeah.
So that's Omen. Phoenix, I guess, run it back isn't suppressed when you throw a knife or use the ult.
No, it's the same treatment as KO where he casts it and he's already ulted. And same with Reyna as well. As long as they've casted it, it's resolved, then they're able to still have their ultimate. It's like they're basically buffing themselves, right? And so
Yeah.
as long as they've already buffed themselves, the buff does not get suppressed itself. And I think one of the interesting ones to show here is, I think the showstopper being able to like suppress showstopper versus jet knives.
Yeah.
And so if I do this here, so I don't have my ult anymore.
Why go
suppressed.
for that? Why? Because it feels like that's one of the ones where you could argue, like, because you've used it, you should be able to see it out. Why do you feel it was necessary to have this ultimate shut down an 8 ult orb ultimate now with showstopper?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the more painful ones for sure, especially because like the knife can suppress raise. But I think it's pretty important for gameplay clarity to be able to have that really big moment when you use suppression, where it actually creates a pretty reliable window of suppression of like no abilities. And so, you know, in the past we've had it so that Raze had her ultimate, but then you would ultimate and then she would already have ulted and she can still kill you with abilities. It almost made it so that was like a kind of a difficult window to really understand or grasp at certain times, especially if you might have missed the ultimate queue. So we wanted to kind of keep the gameplay clarity up, and obviously if it's something that we notice is just like really frustrating or is just something that can't be played around at all, we'll make some changes here and there. But for the most part, I think the gameplay clarity of suppression should be pretty clear on first blush.
Okay.
And the unfortunately the timers are the same time as is the suppression time on the knife, and so you'll just lose it there. Reyna, we talked about already. Sage ultimate, as long as you cast the ultimate, it won't fizzle the body. It'll still go through, but if she has it equipped, it'll go away. The Sky's a good one. I think Sky's like, if she's ulted, do the Seekers die? And that one is no, the Seekers continue.
Yeah, there's nothing that stops Seekers, right, with the ultimate. Like that seems to be the rule from testing her, is just nothing stops Seekers.
Yeah, not even guns.
Yeah.
Those things are tinky.
Does yours fake out make suppression detect a fake agent? I assume
that is a great question.
Is that a thing?
That is not a thing, but maybe it was a misstep. Maybe it's something that's actually really cool. I wonder if that's something we could consider. As of right now, it's not a thing, but I think that is an interesting mechanic that could be something we explore in the future.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
mean, yeah, I guess that's because it'd be easy to sort of, the fake out gets used, you use the knife, you throw it down here, for example, finds nothing, you know it's a fake out.
Right.
But I guess it's cheap utility that forces out a cooldown on a pretty big ability. So it still could be worthwhile, I suppose. Here's a good question. If Cypher hits an overloaded ulted KO with a spy cam tracking dart before the Cypher is suppressed, will it cancel the tracking dart? I guess not, right? It would still continue.
No.
That's cool. And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. There's going to be another video where he talks about some of the other balance changes, as well as what the dev said in a private AMA, where they talk about effectively a Yoru rework, and also potentially some map changes, which we'll talk about later this week. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.